Okay. All right, so first part, solve by complete the square. Anytime you see solve in math, you're trying to get the answer, but what does that mean when you have an equation, if you're trying to solve it? Get x by itself, okay? So the first thing we're going to do on this is complete the square. That's the plus a blank minus a blank, okay? So you put parentheses around the first two, and you can divide by 1 if you want, but it doesn't change anything. So you've got x squared plus 8x plus a blank plus 14 minus a blank. And it does equal 0. They have that in the problem today, equals 0. So plus a blank minus a blank. This is review from the other day. Take half of 8, which is 4, and do what? Square it. So it gives you 16. There's just a 1 in front, and 1 times 16 is 16. Okay? All right. So is it x plus or x minus? X plus. And do I write 8, 16? I write 4. All right, whatever half of that was. Half of 8 is 4. Put your square here. 14 minus 16? -2 equals 0. Okay, here's what we're adding on today. We're adding on the solve part. Solve means to get x by itself, okay? It means to get x by itself. The first thing we're going to move is -2. How do you move -2? You add 2. So you add 2 to the other side. So I'm going to bring down x plus 4 squared equals 2. All I did was move 2 to the other side, okay? Right now, x and 4 are inside parentheses, and what's keeping them there? The square. So you have to get rid of the square next. The opposite of squaring something in math is to square root, okay? So you're going to square root both sides, and we haven't really done this in this class. You did it in Math 1 a little bit. You square root both sides. The square root and the square cancel each other out. That's the whole point of doing it. The square root and the square cancel each other out. So I'm left with x plus 4. Will 2 break down? No, you do have to put a plus or minus in front of it. You do have to put a plus or minus because it could technically be positive square root of 2 or negative square root of 2. So you do have to put a plus or minus. What's the last thing you have to do to get x by itself? Subtract 4. And they're always going to put the 4 in front. So they're going to make it -4 because it crossed the equals. It was +4, so it becomes -4. And they're going to put it in front. I don't care if you put it back here, that's fine. But I'm just showing you how the answer choice is going to look on your test, okay? They're going to put the -4 in front. Remember how when we did quadratic formula, our answers kind of looked like that? That's why they do it like that. They put it in that same format. So that's your answer. -4 plus or minus √2. That's your answer. Okay? -4 plus or minus √2. Okay? Questions? I know you don't have a solid understanding yet, but questions? Okay, number 2, they've already done the plus a blank, minus a blank. It's already in vertex form. Just for grins and giggles, what is the vertex of this one?
X plus 1.
+1, and then comma, -1. That's your vertex, +1, -1, okay? That's just a review. But anyways, all right. So we want to solve this. That means we want to get x by itself. I'm going to move -1 to the other side, so I have to add 1. So I'm going to drop this other stuff down. 4x minus 1 squared. 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, so all I did was move the -1 to the other side and made it +1. Okay? All right, this one has a number in front. You have to get rid of that next. You gotta get rid of the 4. How do you think you get rid of the 4?
Distribute? Don't you distribute it?
All right, we want to move it to the other side though. Good, divide. What does a parenthesis mean it was doing? It was multiplying. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So you divide both sides by 4. So those cancel. So So I'm left with x minus 1 squared equals 1/4. Okay, x minus 1 squared equals 1/4. Okay, all right, still trying to get x by itself. What am I going to get rid of next?
We gotta do the square root.
The square. Okay, how do you get rid of the square?
Square root.
Good. And you're technically square rooting both sides, but the square root and the square cancel each other out. That's the whole point of doing it. So you're left with x minus 1 equals. So 1 is perfect. The square root of 1 is just 1. What's the square root of 4? 2. So you can go ahead and do this. You get 1/2. And you do have to put the plus or minus, which can be hard to remember. Okay, but you do put the plus or minus with that. And then you move the -1 to the other side and make it positive. All right, so here's what I'm going to write for now. I'm going to write x equals +1. It was -1, so it becomes +1 when you move it, plus or minus 1/2. Does this one have any square roots or i's in it? No. So this is one that you can go ahead and do the plus and the minus thing. You can go ahead and do the plus and the minus. So you do 1 plus 1/2, and you can use your calculator. 1 plus 1/2, 1.5, okay? And then you have to do 1 minus 1/2, 0.5, okay? So those are your two answers to that one, okay? All right, number 3, we're still trying to solve it. We're trying to get x by itself. What do you think I'm going to move first, the 5, the 2, or the square? The 5, very good. You have to move the 5 first. How do you move the 5? Divide it. Okay, divide both sides by 5. So I get x plus 2 squared equals what? 16. Okay. X plus 2 squared equals 16. Okay. All right, do I get rid of the 2 or the square next?
Square.
The square. And what's the opposite of square and something?
Square root.
Good. All right, so those cancel, so I'm left with x plus 2 equals. All right, 16, is that perfect? Yep, you can always check it in your calculator. Square root of 16, you get 4, okay? And you do have to put the plus or minus with that today. Okay, so plus or minus 4. All right, the last thing I do is move +2 so it becomes -2. Okay, it becomes -2. All right, once again, there's no square roots or no i's, so you do have to finish it. You do -2 plus 4, and you can use your calculator. -2 plus 4 is 2. And then you have to do -2 minus 4, which is -6. Okay. Questions? All right, let's go up to the top, solve by square roots. Okay, so once again, I'm still trying to solve, which means I'm trying to get x by itself. So I draw my line. What do you think I moved first? 48. So it becomes -48. Okay, so I get 3x squared equals -48. Still trying to get x by itself. What do you think I'm going to do next? Good, divide by 3. X squared equals -16. X squared equals -16. Still trying to get x by itself. Square root, very good. Square root both sides. Okay, so,
Yes, it's gonna be positive.
all right, be careful. That when there's a negative under the square root, you pop out an I to make it positive, but you can't forget about that I. You pop out an I to make it positive, and then what's the square root of 16? 4. And they will put a plus or minus with the answer. They will put a plus or minus with the answer. Plus or minus 4i. That's your answer on that one. Plus or minus 4i. Okay. All right, number 2. What do you think you do first? Move the 27 so it becomes. You move 27 to the other side so it becomes positive. Remember when it crosses the equals, it's going to change. So it becomes positive 27. Okay. All right, there's a square. How do you get rid of the square? Square root. Square root both sides. The square root and the square cancel, so I have x equals. You can always double check it in your calculator. Square root of 27. Does it work? No. Okay. Will 27 break down? Yep. 9 and 3. 9 and 3. And then 9 breaks down to 3 and 3. All right, so you circle those. So we're going to have a 3 on the outside and a 3 on the inside. And once again, there's going to be a plus minus in your answer. So that's your answer. Plus minus 3 square root 3. All right, number 3, what do you want to do first? Divide by 4. So x squared equals 9 over 4. X squared equals 9 over 4. All right, somebody who hasn't answered today, what are you going to do next? Somebody who hasn't answered.
Square root it.
Good. Square root it. Okay, good. So square root both sides. All right, when you have a fraction, you do the top and bottom separately. So you can type it in your calculator if you need to. Square root of 9, 3. And then you type in the square root of 4, 2. Okay, and they will put a plus or minus with that. Okay, plus minus. So that's your answer. Plus minus 3 over 2. All right, here's an easy one. Find the solutions of this graph. So keyword is solutions, but I know that solutions also means x-intercept. So let me write that down. Solutions also means x-intercepts. Okay? So the work's already been done for you. What are the x-intercepts? Negative 2, 0, and 2, 0. Okay, so that's your answers. It's already been done. Okay, those are your answers. That's all you got to do on that one. Okay. Questions? All right, last set. Solve by factoring. All right, let's review factoring to start with. Check for a greatest common factor. Anything go into 3, 5, and 12? No. Okay, so there's no greatest common factor. Anybody remember what you do next? All right, rainbow. 3 times negative 12. So that gives me negative 36. Okay. All right, things that multiply to give me negative 36. All right, 9 and 4, but one of them has to be negative to give you negative 36. One of them has to be negative. Somebody said negative 6 and 6. All right, let's add these. That's your next step, is to add them. What's negative 9 plus 4? Negative 5. Negative 6 plus 6? 0. Okay. What number am I looking for? I'm looking for positive 5, so I'm close. Good. Make 9 positive and 4 negative. Right? And that's going to be my combination. Don't forget, you have to do what with these two numbers? Divide by the first one. Divide by A. So divide by 3. Okay. All right. Will 9 divide by 3? Okay. So 9 divided by 3 is just, so I write x plus 3 in the first parenthesis. 9 divided by 3 is just 3. Okay. Will negative 4 divide by 3? No. Bottoms up. So the 3 goes in front. You put an x with it. And then is it minus 4 or plus 4? Minus 4. Okay. All right. we are adding an extra step today. We're adding the solve. And here's how you solve these. You should have done this in Math 1, but I know it's hard to remember from year to year. To solve these, you set them both equal to 0. All right, I know there's not much space either. So write that down. You do x plus 3 equals 0, and you do 3x minus 4 equals 0. You set them both equal to 0. And you just solve it from there. So you solve each of them separately. So for this one, to get x by itself, you would move positive 3, and it would become negative 3. And then you're done with that one. So x equals negative 3, because you move it to the other side. For this one, I have to move the 4. So it becomes positive 4. So move 4 to the other side and becomes positive. And what do you do last? Divide by 3. And so you get 4 over 3. Okay. All right, number 2 has already been factored for you. Number 2 has already been factored for you. So to get x by itself, you set each parenthesis equal to 0. You set each parenthesis equal to 0. So x minus 7 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. You set them both equal to 0. Okay, and I'm trying to get x by itself. Okay, I'm trying to get x by itself. So you move minus 7 over here, it becomes positive 7. Okay, move negative 2 over there, it becomes positive 2. Okay, those are your 2 answers. All right, number 3 has already been factored for you. You set each parenthesis equal to 0. Set each parenthesis equal to 0. Okay. All right, somebody who hasn't answered today, what do you do first on this one? Good. Okay. Somebody else who hasn't answered, what do you do next? Good. Back to x equals 4. Okay. Bless you. All right, over here, I move 9 to the other side, so it becomes minus 9. Drop down your 3x, and then divide by 3. X is negative 3. Okay. Y'all need more time, or are you okay? All right, last one. Could you put parentheses around 3x if you wanted to? You could, okay? You're setting each part equal to 0. You're setting each part equal to 0 still, okay? You could put parentheses around the 3x if that made you feel better. Set each part equal to 0. Do I add 3, subtract 3, multiply 3? Divide by 3. And 0 divided by 3 is 0. Okay, 0 divided by 3 is 0. What about this one over here? Subtract 2, so you get negative